we were talking about some of the active shooter instructor stuff that you do with Alert. And like, again, man, unfortunately, this stuff is happening more and more regularly, and people think that it's never going to happen to them. They're in a small town, and it does. Yep. But so what do you recommend to people, I guess, a couple different scenarios, maybe like an adult in a public place, mall, grocery store. What do you recommend for them in terms of how to protect themselves against an active shooter? And then we'll get into like a kid in a school.
So one of the main things we teach, and again, Alert kind of, or FBI married Alert, however you want to look at it, in 2013. And there is a course called Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. So it's for civilians. Well before we got together with them, I can say we on both sides now, because now I'm just Alert. The Department of Justice picked run, hide, fight, right? And because they had to pick something, and that was the whole run, hide, fight, run, hide, fight. Well, through Alert, they did avoid, deny, defend. And the way I look at it is, if you say avoid and run, it's kind of the same, right? If you say fight and you say defend, that's kind of the same. But when you tell the average person on the street, hide, what do? They hide. They put, like an ostrich, they put their head in the sand to get under a desk. And we're saying deny. When deny doesn't mean hide out of place. It means shutting that door, locking it, holding it, because a lot of times your active shooters, they're there on a time frame. And I think the studies will show that as long as it's not like a disgruntled spouse or employee who's specifically looking for one person to take out, if it's just an active shooter, generally speaking, a locked door, they'll just go bypass it, because they know they're on a time frame. But the big things is just look at that avoid, deny, defend model. And it's on YouTube now, and you can read it and watch it. They did a really good video with Walmart in Texas, doing a whole little filming thing of like the active shooter event, breaking it down and what you should do. But the main thing you should do is get out. I mean, if it's a window, get out. But if the threat is getting close to you, then you need to deny that threat, which might mean barricading that door. If you look at the Virginia Tech University shooting, there's a great schematic. They break it down and look at each room, how many people died, how many people were injured, compared to how much resistance they gave. And when you get to the room to where they actually wedged the door, nobody got even hurt. So there's the deny. And then if that threat leaves, if you can, get out. But if the threat comes in, now you got to defend yourself. And there's we cover a couple of things, but like structural damage, throat, eyes, ears, and there's a swarming technique. You can kind of do 3 people take a body down. And if you do it right, it doesn't really matter how big you are. I mean, you can be 7 foot, 500 pounds. It's kind of like the old schoolyard. One person grabs the legs, doesn't let go. The other 2 pull them down. You start dividing and conquering the body through some pressure points and stuff like that. But that's the main thing, to get out, know your exits, and have a plan. Have a plan. And that's not me saying, it's the way my brain works. I don't want anybody walking around in fear all day long on eggshells, scared to come out of their house. So maybe you can get some reps and it doesn't bother you, but get your mind, and that kind of, it's sad you got to do it, but just have your mind kind of like, hey, I got a family plan. If here's our magic word. If daddy says this, I want y'all getting out of here. You go to the nearest exit and get out, kind of thing. That's for me, being 28 years of law enforcement and semi-retired now. So if I say I got a family, if I say that to my family, they need to get out, because I might be getting ready to get in a shootout or something.
And what about just being situationally aware, like not walking around looking down at your phone?
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, phones. I think America has ADD. I think the world has ADD. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, that's why I shut the phone off, because even if it vibrated, I'd be like, what was that? I need to answer it. It could be something important. It's like, Scott, you retired. What is it? I don't know. It could be something Brad breaking right now. Situational awareness is huge. Kids, you're going to have to go with your school plan. And a lot of times that avoid doesn't work, because a lot of your schools have lockdowns now. They'll lock it down, but they've got great lock and make. They don't even have to barricade the door. They've got all kinds of aftermarket things you can add to doors. I mean, just like bars going into the ground, that'll make that door pretty dadgum sturdy. And then you can kind of get off to the side. But even then, I would still be looking at a way out, whether that's the windows on the backside of the school. You go back to Columbine and you look, and we break that down when we're teaching it, and you look at how many exit routes there were out of that library, but because of lack of training and fear, and nobody knew, and I'm not blaming anybody, like the librarian that was there that day, do you think she woke up that day in 1999 thinking, what would I do? Because her commands were, get under the table. Everybody get under the table. Well, what's that a drill for? That's a weather event. That's not an active shooter event. And it's sad, but a lot of times, sometimes a catastrophe, something very bad has to happen for the pendulum to swing and get people thinking outside the box or seeing, hey, we need to change.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the interview. If you got anything out of this video at all, please like the video, leave me a comment, tell me what you thought of the video, tell me who you'd like to see on the show. I really appreciate the support. It goes a long way on these platforms, as you guys know. Most importantly, I have some excellent interviews coming up in the future that I'm really, really excited about. So please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of them. But that's it. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you again soon.